Son needs a coffee. Had one, got rid of him. So glad I did. Stella, when was the last time you had a decent date? Tell the truth. Don't talk to me for the next 2 hours. I need 20 clients back to back to back.
All work and no play.
You want to be rich?
Made Stella a big success.
Do you want to wallow in regret?
But everyone knew she needed a vacation.
You ain't been nowhere since I was a natural blonde.
Except Stella.
We're going to Jamaica. What? I want you to try to have some fun with me. Sure. I mean it.
Good morning. Ooh. I would like to dance with you. You can't be serious.
I love you. Never gonna let you.
He looks so good with his clothes on.
Ooh, if I weren't in my right mind, I swear you were trying to hit on me.
Are you paying attention?
I hear you're a cradle rock. Yeah. How could you stoop so low?
I want to know how low did you go? Regina King is crazy.
Let me show you how happy I am. Listen, Winston.
All right. I can play it. But this is Kendell Lenice, and this is more than just a movie where Leroy Mckenzie Jr. and I break down classic Black films only the way that we know how to do it. We talk about it, we make it real, we make it plain, we relate it to certain things that happen in our lives or other people's lives or the reality of it all. We give statistics of the movie and so on and so on and so on. If this is your first time tuning in to More Than Just a Movie, where you been? First, I want to ask you that because we have done, this is the 14th episode. So please go back on my YouTube channel and look at More Than Just a Movie. You may find your favorite movie right there. As always, this is a spoiler alert. That's a disclaimer. If you haven't seen these movies in 20 or 30 years, then shame on you and shame on your parents. And so on and so on. So we are going to spoil the movies for you. But if you haven't seen them, please go back and watch them. If you haven't seen them multiple times, like Leroy and I talked to someone today, they're like, I only see movies once and twice. I said, that's why I do this movie with my boy, Leroy Mckenzie Jr. because we love movies, and I decided to make it into a show. Welcome, Leroy.
What's up, lady? What's going on with you?
Nothing
that black.
We are
Going to Jamaica.
Jamaica. Look, my one girlfriend who has a house in Jamaica, and she's doing some charity work there too and having a good time. She says she's about to make the sequel in real life.
I like that.
Let me make sure I share this with Facebook and everyone else. We are live right now with How Stella Got Her Groove Back. That is a classic for many people. And people who love that, especially older men, younger women, older women, younger men. And when a younger man is introduced to a older woman, and a younger man, an older woman is dating a younger man, sometimes they call that woman Stella, or they say, okay, Stella, I see you getting your groove back. And that symbolizes that. It's no longer, remember the movie back in the day, Mrs. Robinson with Dustin Hoffman. Now for Black people, it's like, okay, Stella, I see you. So How Stella Got Her Groove Back, of course, was, the story was by the amazing Terry McMillan, who burst on the scene with her book Mama and Wait to Exhale and so on and so on and so on. And at 69 years old, she is still giving it to us with the books. I just was reading her latest book last year. So she's still bringing the books and she's still turning them into movies. The book came out in 1996 and the movie came out in 1998. So they didn't wait long for that. All right. So August 14th, 1998, it was released in theaters everywhere. The box office went crazy and it made $39.2 million. And the budget was only $20 million. So you see that profit right there, and they knew that Terry McMillan would bring just that. That's why they didn't wait long to turn this book into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first occasions, it's a rare occasion that, in my opinion, the movie was better than the book.
Really? Okay.
Now, we talked about Disappearing Acts and a couple of shows ago, so if that's one of your favorites, go back and look at that. That book was so much better than the movie, and the movie was pretty good. But in this case, I remember when I saw the movie saying, this movie was better than the book.
Nah, don't go there. We know why you say it was better than the book.
Why I say that?
Don't even go there. Look at my picture back here. Look at my picture.
Let me tell
right
you
behind.
something. Tay Diggs was new to the scene, and I was telling my kids yesterday.
Absolutely.
I was telling my kids yesterday that we thought that this was a Jamaican guy because this was his first movie.
Yeah,
so when he had the accent, and then when we saw him on Best Man, we was like, wait a minute, he ain't Jamaican.
Yeah, but I mean, coming out the gate, being able to
you're low, Leroy. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, coming out the gate playing opposite of Angela Bassett is, you know, how great can that be? And I think to me that's what made the movie better than the book was the acting, because you had Angela Bassett, you got Whoopi Goldberg, you know, straight fool. It was a good cast that brought to life the book that, you know, that was there.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. We have Angela Bassett, we have Whoopi Goldberg, of course, Tay Diggs, the new Tay Diggs here. We got crazy Regina King. We have the elegant and classy Suzanne Douglas. We have Richard Lawson, Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. Back then, she was in a lot of those movies. We have James Pickens Jr. Y'all may know him from Grey's Anatomy now, but he had hair when he was on How Stella Got Her Groove Back. And of course, the awesome Glenn Turner. And the soundtrack, Stevie Wonder, Wyclef Jean, MJB, Mary J. Blige, Michelle and Dagio and Cello, Big Pun, Beanie Man, Maxie Priest, who is one of Terry McMillan's favorite artists, and she talks about that every time she includes him in there. Okay. Yes. Casey and JoJo, Boys to Men, Diana King. There was such a good vibe when it came to this movie. Not only the music, but the scenery. So let's just talk about that for a moment. When you saw How Stella Got Her Groove Back, because I saw it in the movies, and I'm sure you did too. I
don't think I saw this one in the movies.
You didn't?
I don't think I did. I don't think I saw it in the movies. Yeah, I don't think I went to the movies. I saw it afterwards and everything. But you know, but I was already, you know, like you said, they didn't wait long to make the book into because I read the book. Yeah. And then, you know, with them coming out with the movie and everything like that, I saw it after. I think I saw it after, if I'm not mistaken, after it was out of the movie and everything. But still, like I said, still love it.
Because I'm a movie lover. The minute I see black folks, a trailer for black folks, I'm heading to the movie. Like, I'm trying to see it. You know, I love movies like this. And I'm embarrassed to say, like, with half the movies, well, not really embarrassed, but I've seen this movie probably like 20 times, like a lot of the movies that we talk about. Just saw it yesterday. My kids were watching it yesterday. I said, we're doing this tomorrow. And it was on last week I saw it. But then before that, of course, a number of times. What do you think it is about this movie and movies like this that make us want to see it more than once?
Well, I think because of the story. And I think most movies like this we can relate to in one way or the other. Like you said, there's so many dynamics that were in this movie. The older woman, younger guy, that I guess what they call now cougar. You know, the cougar thing and everything like that. Plus, I think it was just a good story. This was a strong Black woman who had everything, was doing well professionally, everything like that. But on the relationship side, she just didn't have anything. She was trying to figure out what she was going to do. So her going to, you know, the island of Jamaica, which is always beautiful and everything like that. And she gets this young 20-year-old whippersnapper, as they call us back in the day, trying to hit on her because he thinks that she's beautiful. And I mean, Angela Bassett is just beautiful anyway. I read in one of the comments on YouTube that Angela Bassett could still play that same role today as Stella. You know,
now
that's how,
as she's aging, I watch her on 911. That's one of my favorite shows, and she's on there. And I just said when I watched it yesterday, I'm like, she's on 911. She's aging, but because that's what happens to us. But she still looks amazing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So it's nothing wrong with aging into your age, and she still looks amazing. Of course, she doesn't look like she did 20 years ago. Who does? 20 something years ago. Right. But she's aging very well. You know, absolutely. In her 60s, looking amazing. Yeah. So let's talk about the movie. Okay, so like, go ahead, Leroy. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Okay, so for those that have not seen it, who've been living under a rock since 1998.
Right, exactly.
It's about, so Whoopi Goldberg and so Dee and Stella Payne is Angela Bassett. So her best friend and her, which is Whoopi Goldberg, she calls her on a whim and says to Dee, I want to go, let's go to Jamaica. We should go. We should meet in Jamaica. Then she calls back like, I don't know what I'm thinking, because she's this stockbroker making $1 gazillion, you know, a week. And she's like, well, I don't have the time. And her friend convinces her that she does have the time. So they book the trip to Jamaica. She gets her braids. In the beginning, she starts with this little wig weave, and she gets her braids and she's ready. So all the Black women know out there, when we go on vacation, if we don't have locks like I used to have, we're going to get our hair braided because we don't have to deal with it, worry about it, you know, get in the water, have a good time, and don't have to worry about bumping and curling and all of that stuff. So that's like a Black girl's rites to passage. Typically is when we go to vacation, we get them braids. So a fun fact, so back then, it was 1998, and I remember when Queen Latifah had her talk show. Mm-hmm. And I was going to New York to be in the audience. Later, I didn't know that I was going to be speaking on the talk show, but that's a whole nother show. I spoke on the talk show. Queen Latifah was like, repeat that again. And I was happy. I was on camera, but that's not the reason. So let me back up. So I remember around this movie came out, that Queen Latifah was around the same time, but I remember going to the braid shop and saying, have you seen Stella Got Her Groove? How Stella got her groove back? Because I want braids like that. So I got my braids. They didn't quite look like Stella, but they were okay enough. And I remember when I was going to the Queen Latifah show, I was like, well, I'm going to take these braids out because I had them for a minute. But then when I got there, you know, people were like, oh, your braids look nice. And then I was on camera and I was like, oh, Lord, I'm about to take these braids out. So when I think about that, I think about those two together because I wanted those braids because she looked so beautiful. Yeah. In this movie. I was like, I want what she's having. I want the braids. So Whoopi Goldberg, so they go to Jamaica and she meets, like Leroy says, a 20-year-old boy or young man. So what was interesting, in the book, Stella was 42. So in the movie, they make her 40. So that even 20-year difference, which I see why they did that. And of course, like a lot of Black women, he was like, you ain't 40 type thing. So then take it from there, Leroy. So when she meets him, what happens?
Well, they meet each other, and like you said, he initially lets her know he actually what they call it, shoots his shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And lets her know, and she's like in disbelief. She doesn't believe that that he's trying to that he's attracted to her, and that he thinks that she's cute. And at first she thinks, like you said, she thinks he's a little boy. She was like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? And so she kind of tries to brush him off, but he was like, no, I'm failing you. You know, he's like, what you doing in Jamaica? And he does what most men do. We ain't gonna ask you, are you married? We're gonna say, where's your husband at? You know what I'm saying?
Y'all do that all the time. Y'all do that all the time. Is your husband behind you? Where your husband? Just to find out.
But I mean, the thing is, this is what I do. What I've done rather is I'm first to look at
You
the.
sound kind of low, Leroy. You
Really,
sound a little low.
I don't know why I'm so low today. Um, but it might. You don't have your earbuds in, do you?
No, I didn't
See, that's
have
why.
like with.
Yeah, you don't have your earbuds in, so I promise you, your whichever device you're using, whether it's your
Because
laptop
the
or your
last
computer.
couple weeks I didn't have them either, and I heard you fine.
Really?
Like I heard
Yeah,
you
I'm not sure
crispy.
because
I don't know,
I
but I
haven't.
can still hear you. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I haven't done anything different.
Let me
But
ask our favorite fan. Our favorite fan for more than just a movie is Basine Hedgeman. She is watching again from her TV. So I'm shouting you out, girl. Let me know.
I love that.
She loves every Wednesday. She is here live. I appreciate you. So can you hear both Leroy and I fine? Because as long as they can hear us fine, right. I can roll with it. So let me know, Basine, if you can hear us just fine. But go ahead, Leroy.
So Stella doesn't believe that he's interested in her, and she doesn't think she's wondering how old he is because he of course he looks really young. So he asks her name. She gives him her first name. He tells her his whole name, and she doesn't even believe his name. She doesn't believe his name is Winston.
Right.
His name is Winston Shakespeare. She was like, what?
Right, like, right.
Mr. Shakespeare, okay. So she's like, how old are you? And he doesn't have a problem with she said, well, he asked her, how old do you think I am? And so she's like 25, and he's like, well, I'll be 21 on my next birthday. And Stella's like, what?
And he's like, really? He was so happy that she thought he was older.
25. Right, that he was a little older, right? And so he tries to he asks her, how old she is, and that's when she tells him that she's 40. And he's like, you are not. He was like, stop playing, stop lying. You're not 40 years old. You don't look that old. He's like, then it's kind of like she didn't know how to take it because he was like, you look great for your age. And she kind of, it's kind of like, was that a compliment or not? Because and everything like that. So she doesn't believe him. He asked her out on a date, to go to this pajama
they
party.
can't hear you either. It's low when they're listening.
Oh wow! Said. I don't.
So
because I haven't done anything different, so I don't know why it would be lower. And my and I know my mic is up to 100 too. So
we'll just roll with it. That's how it goes when we live. It's all good. But go ahead.
I'll hold the mic close. This mic to my mouth a little close, so hopefully that'll work. But so he winds up asking her out to the like a pajama party that they're going to be having at the hotel and stuff. And so she agrees to go, and they wind up going to the party, and the fellas are looking at her, of course, in her outfit and everything like that.
She looked good.
Yeah, and she's just amazed that I guess that she's getting guys to look at her in that way, and everything like that. So
yeah,
their relationship kind of grows from there, and you get into that dynamic of the older woman, younger man, and we'll talk a little bit more about her meeting his parents and everything like that, and all of that stuff too. So that's where they go from there, and how they originally met. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? You can't hear me, Kendell?
Yes, I think. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's how they, how they originally met, and then they get into, of course, he meets Quincy. He meets her son, and then meets Whoopi, and Whoopi is just like, Whoopi is crazy with her saying, look, you down in Jamaica, you done met this fine young man. What's the problem? You say, what is the problem?
I'm trying to. I'm not sure what's going on with the Wi-Fi. Can you?
Yeah, because I can hear you fine. I'm hearing you fine.
You can?
Yeah.
You can hear me fine? Okay.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I think we lost him. But yeah, but we're talking about how Stella got a groove back with Angela Bassett and with Taye Diggs. Just a great movie written by, it's actually a movie that came from the book by Terry McMillan. It's about a stockbroker who actually decides to, there you are, you back?
All right. Yeah, we're still.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Are we good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Sorry, everybody. You know, we are live, and every now and then it hasn't really happened on this show, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm just making sure we are good because sometimes, you know, it's live and not Memorex.
Absolutely.
You remember that, Leroy?
Yeah, I know, right?
We're live and not Memorex. So when you think about how Stella got her groove back, and I'll ask you, have you ever dated somebody who was much older than you are?
And see, I was thinking about that too, and like, no, I have one of my ex girlfriends. She was like 2 years older than me. That was it. Yeah. But everybody else has actually been younger than me. So, but see, here's the crazy thing about it. You know, they and I don't know if you call it a double standard or not, but there seems to be make a big deal out of an older woman dating a younger man, but don't make a big deal out of out of an older man dating a younger woman.
Yeah.
And Ron Osley is the perfect example. His wife is like 4 years younger than him, and he's like 70. So, because I was thinking about his relationship, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like, here you have this dynamic. I don't know what they call an older man dating a younger woman, type.
Normal. They call it normal.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? But they got to give an older woman dating a younger man a title. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. But it's just like, to me, these kind of things. There's going to be and you could see it in this movie with How Stella Got a Groove. The age difference did play somewhat of a part in it because of you're going to have different experiences and different mindsets too. Um, even though Taye Diggs' character of Winston, even though he was mature to be to be 20, 21 years old.
And established. Yeah. He had already graduated.
Yeah, but you gotta look at this family background though. Look at the family background. His father was a doctor, because he was Dr. Shakespeare. And so he grew up very, with educated parents. Yeah. So he's gonna be mature, because I promise you, if you were to look at those dynamics, education was pushed on him. Was probably pushed on him, or those that grew up in that type of family upbringing and household. The education is pushed on you. You go to school, you get educated, you speak well, you handle yourself, you carry yourself very well. So that didn't surprise me once you saw his, what his family life was like.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Okay, so Winston is loving on some Stella, and he surprises her and takes her to meet his parents.
Yep, meet the parents. Meet the parents. Yep. Dad was, dad was cool. dad was cool, but mama wasn't having it. So mama was not feeling Stella, because she felt like Stella was as old as she was. I'm not sure if you frozen that on us, Kendell, but yeah, but when she takes her to meet the parents, kind of it kind of becomes a thing where the father is of course welcoming and all good with her. So I'm gonna see if she's gonna come back. But for those that haven't seen the movie, when they do go to meet Winston's parents, um, like I said, the father is okay, and with their relationship and with them her relationship with the mother. Yeah, you're mute, Kendell.
Willing to take on someone's baby. I'm not sure what's happening today. But did you hear anything that I said?
No.
Okay, it's one of those days. I'm sorry. The internet, that's all right. We've done 14 shows. This is the first time the internet want to act crazy. That's all right. We're going to keep it pushing live like we do. Leroy's holding it down while mine,
Absolutely.
acting
Absolutely.
But so when Stella goes to, and I was when Stella goes to his parents' house, surprisingly, she's dressed in her ripped jeans and her hair, her braids are down. She got her little cute little shirt on, and he surprises her. So the minute she gets there, she's like, "Well, where are we?" He says, "I'm taking you to meet my parents." And she was like, "Winston, like I could have dressed up, like I got this on." So then, of course, his uppity parents are looking at her like she's some old floozy from the United States of America, and and says, "How old are you?" And she says 40. And then the mother says, "I'm 41. And she said, "Are American women that desperate that they're going to pretty much have somebody's baby?" And she's like, "He ain't no baby." Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Even though, he's over 18, so he's considered a grown man, but that is somebody's child.
He's a young adult. He's a young adult. See,
right.
2021, you are not a grown man. You're a young adult.
No, you're a young adult. Exactly. So what do you think about that comment that the mother made? And do you think that some Black moms tend to look at their sons forever as a baby?
Absolutely. Y'all do. Yeah, that's what y'all do. That's the protective nature of a mother. This will all, we will always, as sons, we will always be our mother's baby. We will always be our mother's son. And she wants to see us protected, because like you said, just the comment in and of itself, she had the mindset that Black American women were just out to, that they couldn't find someone their own age, so to speak, or whatever. That it came to that point where they had to go dig deep down into the lower age bracket of the male pool, and of course, Winston's mother probably just thinks that, hey, she's only here for a little bit. She gonna get a little groove on, and then hurt my baby boy. Hurt my baby boy, and he'll be none the wiser. And that's to me, that it didn't surprise me that because that's real. I think that's a real state. I think that's real. That's something that I believe a Black mother would do. That she would do.
Yeah.
She would say, because she don't care. She don't care.
Right. Because I don't have sons. But if I had sons, and they met a 40-year-old woman and they were 20, because people give their sons a little more grace than their daughters, right? That's just how it is. Ain't nobody, no daughter. If my daughter 20 years old brought home a 40-year-old man, I would have a problem with that.
No, that's what I was just getting ready to ask you. If you're 20, how's your daughter? Because your daughter's in her 20s.
Yeah, both of them. One's 22.
If they bring home to you, say, "Mama, I want you to meet my new man," and he's 55, like I said, the Ron Osley and his wife. Could you imagine her bringing him?
In the words of Whitney Houston, the late great Whitney Houston, "Hell to the no." No. Or like on TikTok, "Oh no, oh no."
So, so
No, ma'am, sir.
but that's real, and that's how I think we as
Yeah,
in society do
yeah,
see that dynamic. It's like, why do you have to date somebody that's
yeah.
that's that much younger than you, or that much older
Right,
than you, you know?
right.
So,
Now, I will say, as you're talking about Ron Isley and Candy Isley, formerly of JS, the Johnson Sisters, the group, and they used to sing background
oh really?
for the Isley brothers. Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
let me say this. Candy, maybe for Mother's Day, posted a picture of her mom. Her mom even looked younger than Ron Isley.
I can believe it.
So I believe her mom is younger than her husband. So I can only imagine, and that's the thing though, too, because he was famous. People, we already know people tend to make excuses, or people tend to give leeway where they wouldn't give it if it was a regular Joe Schmo,
Exactly.
working at Walmart,
Right.
because of the status of the Isley brothers. I
Right.
wonder, and I don't know, I wonder if she was like, I don't care whose brother he is, he's too old, or he's an Isley brother, go on ahead and do that.
Well,
I
see, but
don't know if they had that conversation, but they've been married for quite some time now.
yeah,
After he
yeah. And I didn't
married
realize that.
Angela Winbush, and he's been married to
I,
her.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I mean, I get that his current wife is his current wife and she's younger, but Angela Winbush was I always thought she was gorgeous. I mean, I was just like,
She
dang.
is.
I was like,
Yeah,
what is
she is.
what is your problem?
She
But I
is.
mean, but you never know what people's
Yeah.
relationships are and everything like that. But
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that the age, the age difference. Let me ask you: do you think that age matters when it comes to relationships?
Well, when I first got married, I was back in the day, I was 20,
Hmm.
and my ex-husband was like 27,
That's not bad. That's 7
26.
years. Mm-hmm.
Right. But I was very mature. I remember when I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him, I think I was 18. And he kept saying, Are you sure you're 18? He thought I was like his age because when I was young, I had my stuff together,
Together. Mm-hmm.
and right. And so he kept saying, and then I guess how they say, women mature, you know, sooner than guys and all that, or it ends up being the same, equal, whatever. But he
Mm-hmm.
used to be like, Are you sure? Because you sure you're not older? So it didn't really feel like any difference in that. And that was what, like 6 years, maybe something like that. 6 years, 6.5 years, something like that. Maybe young, maybe, yeah, I think he was like 6 years older than me then. So I can't, so maybe he was 25. I can't remember, 25, something like that. But 24. But I just remember it not feeling anything. Now, when I was 40 and I was dating, I had dated a 50-year-old for a moment, like for a quick moment. We had gone on a couple of dates, and I didn't see anything different in the 10-year. That's as far as I've gone. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it would be like. Like, I could not see me with a 30-year-old guy right now. And I
Okay.
remember
Okay.
my little brother used to be the gauge because my brother and I are 7 years apart. And
Mm-hmm.
I always liked older guys. I never really liked younger men. But then even now, younger. But I don't know if I could do 20. I know I could not date a 30-year-old man right now.
Mm-hmm.
But people do it. Taraji was doing it. Mariah Carey is doing it. Regular folks that we don't know
Right.
are doing
Right.
it.
Right.
Would you be able to date a 70-something-year-old woman?
Well, if she looked like Angela Bassett, yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about now.
Like I said, Angela
Oh,
Bassett, she looked like
okay,
Angela
okay,
Bassett, yeah. I
okay.
could.
But she ain't 70-something yet, boy. Bless her heart.
No, I'm just saying,
But
if she looks,
so she was super fine.
yeah, if she looks like Angela Bassett instead, because
Okay,
I mean, you could do, but
okay.
it would take a lot, because, like you said, I mean, even 20 years younger, even I could, like you, that's a she would have to be super mature, You know what I'm saying? It would, I mean,
Yeah.
be super mature because, and we would have to have, to me, we would have to have so much in common. And that's the thing that I
Yeah.
look for. What are those
Yeah.
things that we have in common? Now, if she loves music, if she loves, certain kinds of movies, if she
Movies.
loves jazz, and if we're into the same things like that, and we're vibing like that, then yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
But like you said, at the same time, the mentality to me is going to be different most of the
Yeah.
time. The
Yeah.
mentality is going to be different. The experiences are going to be different. I could we probably couldn't. Could you imagine trying to talk to a 30-year-old about these movies? You know what I'm saying?
No. No. They would be like, what? The only ones is like if they were raised by parents like us.
Right.
Because
Right.
my kids know all the movies because
Right.
they watched it with me. But if you got a parent that was like, I'm into literature, I'm not into none of these little movies, and they have no clue, then no.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, but so having some things in common, and even with this movie, I'm trying to think of what Stella and Winston had in common that gave them that
Because
connect.
remember
What
he
do
had
you think that
cereal in the
connection
bed?
was?
Remember he had cereal in the bed and he was asking her to bring some snacks and some cocoa, remember Cocoa Puffs and
Cocoa Puffs,
all the little snacks and juice boxes and everything. And she said she was finding Cocoa Puffs in the bed. But then you see them in these scenes that were, of course, you see the shower scenes where they're having sex in the shower and you see all that part. But then even in Jamaica, when they had sex for the first time, they were still able to lay down and they were talking about life and real issues. And
Right.
I think that's when she started saying, you know what?
Right.
It might be some substance to
Right.
him, or he makes me feel this way or that way.
Right.
And then even when I think the turning point, well, of course she was already feeling that. And then when he asked her to come back to Jamaica when she got fired, to come back to Jamaica, and she brought her son and her niece. And then once that vacation was cut short, and I'm going to talk about this. So that vacation is cut short. We have about 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
And because her best friend didn't tell her that she was dying of cancer.
Right.
So the doctor says you're down in case of emergency. And she's like, what kind of emergency? And she says, Delilah, your friend Delilah, I thought you knew. And she's like, knew what? What are you talking about? And he leaves a message at the hotel and saying that she's ill and if, she needs to get to her side as soon as possible. Right. So I can only imagine what you're thinking, and you're mad that your friend didn't tell you, and you've been talking to her, and she's been in a hospital bed, and she's gave Winston your number because she wanted to see her friend happy. She didn't know how long she was going to be here. Right. And then we find out why she was encouraging Stella to live her life and live her life to the fullest and not worry about the little things that we worry about. And really just enjoy her life. Go to Jamaica if you want to go to Jamaica. You got the money. Go back if you want to go. Visit him. Do what you want to do. And then, of course, we find out once she gets to the hospital, she discovers that her friend is dying. And that is such a tender moment when they're in the hospital and they're reminiscing about music and old boyfriends. And she's rubbing her friend's feet that's, in the hospital. And she's talking about giving her a shopping spree and just the love of that friendship. Yeah. That was such a sweet moment and selfless even of Stella, because Stella was sad that her friend was in the hospital bed and dying, but she was trying to keep it upbeat and show her how much she loved her as a sister friend. You want to talk chime in there?
Well, it's those kind of seeing that what you just talked about made me think about me and one of my friends, closest friends from college, and we had stayed friends, and he had a bad he had a bad heart, so didn't know it at the time, but he wound up going in and out of the hospital, and I remember having to go to see him in the hospital, and us having those Stella and Delilah conversations just about life and the things that that we reminisced about. Of course, talking about back in school, back in college, and everything like that. All the just the crazy things. Because, I mean, when you think about those fun times, and like you said, you want to make it. You know it's a serious situation, but you still want to make your friend feel comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
in those times, because it's serious. And when they're sick like that, I mean, and that's having cancer, having the bad heart that he had and everything like that. It just shows you that you can't take life for granted, because you don't know, the things that are going to happen, how this journey that we're on called life turns out and everything like that. So those moments, give you the ability, like I said, seeing it in the movie, it gives you the ability to be able to just take the friendships that you have,
Yeah.
and think about them, and those people that you hold near and dear to you and everything like that. And even on the Delilah side, where she didn't want a friend, to see her in that vulnerable state, which is what a lot of us do when we are sick, because we never want to have that feeling where we're burdening other people, and we don't want them to
Yeah.
to be sad and everything like that. It's just, but it's a part of life. And how Stella was there for Delilah, those are the things that you look to do for your friends. And that's what, I let my friend know, and that's what, kind of like Stella, that's what we're here for. We're here. That's what friendship is about. It's about
Yeah.
getting through those bad times, those tough times. That you have
Yeah.
somebody that you can lean on. Somebody that
Yeah.
you can go through. Because I remember that same friend lost his mother and his father within 6 months of each other. So
Yeah.
going through something like that, that's where friendships are built. They're built on those times right there, because
Yeah.
who can I count on
Yeah.
when I'm feeling my lowest, when
Yeah.
I don't know who to turn to, I don't know
Yeah.
which way is up, or what's going on. But
Yeah.
I know that I have, those very few people that are in my circle, that they've seen that with me. They've gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've gone through it with them. They've gone through it with me. So we that's what I see when I see that. It's about those friendships that you have, that you can, that you call sincere friendships. So.
I'm glad to hear you as a man, say that you guys have, and there's nothing wrong with saying tender moments,
Oh
with
no.
one another.
Yeah.
I love to hear that resonated with men too, like her being there for her friend and
Right.
having that moment. I love to hear that
Yeah.
it resonated with Black men too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so powerful, because like you said, that's where friendships are built,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stand and the test of time, and the
Time.
tried but true.
Yeah.
So then of course we know Delilah passes away, and that whole scene, first, that church was beautiful, that big old cathedral church, but how her love grew for Winston. And I was like, yes, Winston. He came to that funeral from Jamaica, and he came to be by her side, knowing that her best friend had just passed.
Yeah.
So she went straight from Jamaica to New York to see her friend. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
even go home. She didn't take
Right.
the kids home. And she left Winston behind, only to see him at that funeral. And she's up there, giving the eulogy, and he comes in there, and I'm like, yes. So with things like that, that does attach you to someone, and you do see how they care for you when they don't have to do something,
Right.
and they do it. And when she was saying her speech, and she said that Delilah did one thing that she has never been able to do, and that was to keep a secret about her health. And you were talking, and I just thought that was you have that little light moment. And then
Yeah.
when she
Yeah.
said, who's going to be my best friend now, I remember I lost it. I was crying away when she said, who's going to be my best friend now. And when you think about that, and she said all the moments that she had was with
Yeah.
this woman.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that even through the movie, like, they didn't just leave it there and Delilah was a memory. Even,
Mm-hmm.
a couple scenes later, Winston finds her on the couch crying. And that was real because that was a grieving moment. You know how sometimes in movies, they just move past things so quick. Like then you forget Delilah was even her best friend. She was there. They kind of kept that. And I know a lot of times when Terry McMillan writes, she writes from a real and an honest place, like things that have happened to her. You know, and I remember her talking about a friend that she had that she lost. And I think that's why her writing is so honest and relatable because it's real life.
Yeah. And that's what makes the even let's say the writing of a book or even the writing of a songwriter that can pull from I guess that's why so many folks love Mary J. Blige so much, because her life was nothing but her CDs and everything like that. So people could relate to what she was singing about, just like you were saying with Terry McMillan. People could relate to what she was writing about, the story that she was telling. It's like, like I told you, that the scene with Whoopi and with Angela Bassett when she came to see her, that's something that I can relate to because I've dealt with that. I've been in that hospital, you know, with my closest friend. And we've had those conversations that nobody else would be privy to. That's just me and him talking man to man, talking about how he was going to face what he was facing, you know. And those are moments that you can't, you know. It's powerful when somebody can write that and you can actually see that and feel it. So
and that's so true. That's how, you know, movies connect to us. And you know, a lot of the movies that we spoke about, that's how they connect us. That's why we keep watching them again. There's something that it's soothing or in us, or it's reminding us of something, or it's making us laugh about something, or it's feeling a part of us, you know, something. Because every movie that I see, I don't watch 10 times. Let me just be honest. But there's certain Black movies that I watch that every time they come on, or I intentionally put them on, I watch it and I speak the words, I laugh, I cry. And certain movies have that, because there's certain movies that I say, I'm not watching that. I'm mad I watched it the first time. or I'm not watching that movie again. There's certain, because it's certain feelings about certain movies.
I still want my $2 back from Candyman.
From what?
From the movie Candyman.
Candyman?
Yeah, Candyman. You never saw that?
When you look in the mirror, that one?
Yeah, wait, am I getting it wrong? Am I getting the name wrong?
Candyman, where you look in the mirror, that was in the 80s? You talking about?
When the dude that was it was supposed to be a scary movie.
And then he was looking in the mirror. You say it 3 times?
Right, 3 times.
I would never watch that movie because my big cousin scared me to death with that movie, and she would turn off the lights and say our names in the mirror like they said. I never watched that again, ever.
That one I remember because me and my best friend at the time, we were in high school. We went to the $2 movie on Patterson on Eastern Avenue.
Yes,
we went and saw that movie, and I told him, like, dude, I want my money back, because we laughed through the whole movie because we thought it was stupid. I was like, I still want my $2 back.
Look, and that's a movie you remember going to. You typically don't remember when you go to the movie. Now what you do, you ain't like it. So now we see with Leroy, if he don't like it, he remembers the exact time and date he went to that movie. If he loves it, he can't remember. We discovered it. We undiscovered.
So,
we uncovered why you don't remember.
I still want my $2 back from that movie. Okay, that was the sorriest movie I ever saw. And some people like it for that reason, but I never liked it. But
that is so funny. But it's a movie that a lot of people like that I will never see more than once. I saw it at the movies, and I saw clips at home if it's on and I happen to click through, but it's a movie that I will never watch more than one time. And everybody's going to be surprised, and everybody's like, everybody's going to say, that's my movie. But the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, I will never, it left me, when I left the movie, I felt drained, I felt sad, I felt angry, I felt mad. I just remember not having a good feeling. because I didn't like the fact that they were accused of that. They were in the jail for that long and then they finally got out. It was something about that movie, and that's a lot of people's favorites. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Kendell, because I didn't. I just never. I never got that movie out. It was not. I didn't think it was. A couple of parts were funny. I'm the pappy. That was pretty funny.
Right.
That was pretty funny. But like you, just the whole storyline and just I never got into it. I never understood why people.
See, that's why we do this show. We be on the same wavelength when it comes to movies.
All right, but before I go, we got to talk about this part of the movie. Was when Stella takes Winston to meet the family with Regina King and them, and they sit
and they sit in the car. Tell him to come here. He said, Dad's here too. You got the ex-husband. You got all the family.
Everybody.
And I can feel, let me tell you something. I can feel Angela Bassett when she said, that was so real when she was like, I'm just tired. I just can't wait to get home. You know, after you have a long vacation. And then you hear the music, you smell the smoke. And Winston is like, game, like, this is America. I heard about these cookouts. Let's get ready to go. And she's like, and then Regina comes out. But we also got to talk about Regina King real quick when she was in the ambulance and she had it going. And she's like, I'm coming. And she got the music bumping. So her whole character, even in the beginning, when they're in the spa and the white lady tries to get in, she was like, what you laughing at? You don't even know us. So her whole movie. Yeah. But go ahead and talk about that. Before you end with that, I just want to say, shout out to Allison. Allison says she wants us to do some Spike Lee. So I'm telling Leroy right now, maybe the month of July, each week we'll do a Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee. Oh, that's perfect.
Maybe we'll do that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, because she was like, can you do some Spike Lee? And then we got, Basine asked us to do School Days next week. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's perfect. I thought that was on our list for next week anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just on the list.
Oh, okay.
But then remember we said we were going to do it. I'm just reminding folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But go ahead and finish talking about that scene because I know we got to cut it just to an hour today.
No, I just think that scene was probably one of the funniest because you know that's how family is. You got the new man that the one in the family that everybody wants to mess with. When you gonna get married? All of that. So and then they sitting in the car, and of course you got that one aunt, the loud one or the one cousin. That's what they come on out here.
Right.
We want to see him, Stella.
Right. Then you got the one sister that's opposing to everything. Right. Those are like based off of Terry McMillan's sister. One that's for anything, and one that ain't for nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Two opposite sides of the same spectrum and everything like that. And the one is, like you said, the Regina King's character was just hilarious because she's like, yeah, let me see that. And then the other one, the other sister, she's like, oh, you robbing the cradle now, of course. Got to have the smart attitude and everything like that. And then, like you said, of course, the ex-husband had to come by because he done heard too. Somebody done told him that Stella got a new man. So of course Stella
got her groove back.
So all of that that was a one scene that kind of sticks out to me. It's just that family scene and how everybody wanted to come to the cookout and see Stella's new man. You know what I mean?
And they were playing flashlight the whole time, so that it was popping out there. And when the son comes out and says, "Mom, Dad's here too."
Yep. That's like,
oh God! And then so everybody that knows, real quick, of course, this was based off of Terry McMillan's life. Her son's his name is Solomon, and she has a son. And she did go over to Jamaica in her 40s and she met her Winston, which was not Winston. It was her ex-husband. And later she found out he was gay. Everybody was like, you couldn't tell? But, they stayed married for a moment. So she had her real life Winston, whether it worked out or not. But I love the fact that older women are being open to love, however it comes, and open to doing what they want and allowing life to just flow and not be stick in the mud and say, I can't. And they're learning to live. Even though Terry McMillan's relationship didn't work out, we got a great book. we got a great movie, and I'm sure she got some learning from it, and she was able to just let go and just be, and to show that over 40 women are still beautiful and great and still got it going on, and the young tenderonis are still looking.
No, and that's the thing that I hope that women understand, even from this movie or from the book standpoint, that that to understand that as long as the relationship that you and the person that you're in the relationship or getting into the relationship with can relate to each other. The age is going to be, it may be a factor to everyone else, but as long as it's not a factor to the two of you, that's the really
Yeah,
thing that matters to me. Because I don't, if my thing isn't, if I get in, if I had gotten involved with somebody that was 20 years younger than me or 20 years older than me or whatever, and my family didn't like them or care for them, okay, that's fine and true. But I've had girlfriends that they ain't like, and they were a couple years younger than me and everything like that. And they ain't like them, so But the matter is, to me, at the end of the day, as long as you have things that are in common, the things that you can relate to with each other, and you want to grow the relationship. It's not about you. You all are going to grow or should grow, but the relationship grows, and you put who you
yeah.
all are into the relationship, and not allow everybody else to control your relationship. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. And you said you ended it perfectly. As long as the two people in the relationship are grown and consenting adults, they should be
yep,
able to do exactly what they want and not be so caught up. Is this going to work out? I hope this doesn't, if this doesn't, allow it to just flow and just let it
exactly.
breathe.
Yep.
As D Nice says, let it breathe. And if
Yeah.
it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, that you learned, you grew, you had a good experience with this thing called love. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for watching More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films. My boy, my movie buff, my Black movie buff, Leroy Mckenzie Jr. Make sure you subscribe below. Next week, we will have school days, and we got more to come. This is the 14th episode, but we can keep going and keep going and keep going. Y'all know all the Black movies out there. We'll be in business forever.
Absolutely,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
We're keeping it just to an hour today. Typically, this show is 90 minutes. So if you missed this one, go back and watch it and watch the other ones. Thank you so much for tuning in to More Than Just a Movie. I am Kendell Lenice.
And it's your boy Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder.
We are out. Peace, y'all. God bless. Thank you for
Later.
watching.
Thanks, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And tell all your friends and family, and let
That's
us know
right.
also if you want us, like we've had requests. So if you want us to break down your favorite movie or
Yep.
your favorite movie maker like Spike Lee, let us know in the comments below. Let us know, and we will talk about that movie, because 9 times out of 10, we done seen it 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Absolutely.